welcome to the Isle. Chances are, if you are watching this, you are a new player and are looking for the best place to start. In my experience, finding a community that best fits your gameplay style is a huge aspect of this game. You may have tried some servers and found them to be frustrating and overly complicated, which makes the game feel unenjoyable. So for new players, I recommend the server Dino-Mite. They are a large, active community that welcomes and encourages new players, and they do frequent events and giveaways for the community to earn full-grown dinos. The staff are friendly and always willing to help out, and they have a player base that loves to take in and mentor new members. The link to their Discord server is on screen now, and it will also be in the video description. To start out, there are 3 basic elements to keep in mind when playing this survival game: stamina, hunger, and thirst. The default button Insert on your keyboard will pull up your stats. Here you will find your meter for stamina, hunger, and thirst, as well as growth percentages, coordinates, and other things, but those will get covered later. First, you'll need to find food and water. Using the default button Q, you can sniff the air to track down bushes if you are an herbivore, or carcasses, also known as gore, if you are a carnivore. Bushes will light up green through the terrain, and gore will light up red. Water is also found using this function. Big bodies of water will light up blue through the terrain if you are close enough. Sometimes there won't always be gore laying around for a carnivore to scavenge. In this case, a carnivore can hunt food using sound cues nearby. AI will spawn frequently, and you'll need to listen to the calls they make to track them down. You can also use the default button Q to sniff out the AI's tracks, but be careful as this will also show recent player tracks. Take note, however, that rain will prevent you from being able to pick up any sort of scent. After you've found food or water, you will use the default button E to eat or drink. Now that you've found food and water, we can discuss your stamina bar. You can sprint using the default button Shift, but this will deplete your stamina. Certain dinos can use the default button C to crouch, which will give you a temporary boost to speed and will help you catch up to quicker prey. This ability will also be useful in keeping yourself hidden or making a quick getaway. Each dino will have a different rate of depletion and regeneration. Some dinos gain stamina back while walking, but the fastest way to regain stamina will be to use the default button H to sit down. Sitting down is the best way to heal yourself if you take damage. In the stats menu, you will see how much damage you've taken as well as your health state. Keep in mind that you cannot attack or sniff until you stand back up. Another thing to note is the time of day will affect how you hunt and survive. Nighttime can get very dark, but you can use the default button N to turn on your night vision, which will give you a small radius of vision around you. To check the time in game, you can press Insert and find it in the top right corner of your player's stats. Above that, you will find your coordinates. This may not seem helpful at first, but by clicking them, you can copy and paste them into an interactive map to see your location. This will be linked in the description below. The named places on the map is what people will refer to when giving you their location. It is important to note that these locations will have a higher number of players at them, so if you're looking to avoid confrontation, it is best to steer clear of these areas. Next up is combat. Eventually, you will run across an aggressive player and you'll need to know how to defend yourself. Each dino has special characteristics that separate itself from others, but they will all have the same basic combat functions. The default to attack is left mouse click. For carnivores, it is a bite ability. Some dinos will have a right mouse button ability for combat as well. As you take damage, you will notice the edges of your screen getting more and more red, or bloody. After a certain stage, your dino will die. Again, you'll want to sit down to heal your dino after combat. Sitting is also how you'll heal bleed damage, which can be extremely lethal if not taken care of right away. Some players may choose to remain stealthy, and even choose to not engage in fights at all, and that's totally okay, so it's important to know what your calls mean. By pressing the default buttons 1 through 4, your dino will make a different call. 1 is a general broadcast, 2 is a friendly call, 3 is aggressive, and 4 is surrender. If you'd rather, you can communicate with other players through the chat channels by pressing enter and typing out your message. You can press your bracket keys to switch between global chat, group chat, and local chat. Global chat is readable by everyone on the server, where group chat can only be read by your group, and local chat can only be read by nearby members of the same species. Keep in mind that when you type in chat, your dino will make a sound each time, alerting nearby players of your location. Now that you've gotten the basic survival skills down, you may want to increase your pack or herd size. There are several ways to do this. First, you can press the default button tab to pull the player menu where you can invite members of the same species to formally be in your group. After finding the player you would like to invite, click the plus icon next to their name and they will either accept or deny your invite. If you are being invited to a group, you will get a pop-up on your screen and you will either press F1 to accept or F2 to deny. After adding members to your group or joining an existing group, you will be able to see the names of the players above their dino no matter their location on the map. Alternatively, if you are a female dino, you can use the default button B to place down a nest to increase your group size. To do this, after placing your nest down, you must use the default button H to sit in your nest until your egg is incubated. You can then invite through there and the invited player will spawn in your nest as a hatchling. You'll need to deposit your food into your nest to keep your baby fed. This will deplete your hunger. Hopefully, these tips will help you find your footing and give you a better idea of how to be successful in playing the game. There are many other things about the game that could be covered, but that is where it is nice to have a helpful community like the members at Dino-Mite to ask questions and guide your way.